first saw me, she say, who is that? When a man saw me, he called me a threat. I'm the one that really live with a rap. They ain't never did it, they ain't really.
There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? There's money everywhere. There's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name. Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino is the name. I'm in here with my brother 2G, and wanted to talk to you guys about basically why I'm quitting my job. So, yes, my plan is to leave my 9 to 5 and do what? What am I gonna do? Am I just gonna retire? Am I gonna go be a bum on the corner? Why am I leaving my job? And I guess, what am I planning to do? So, you know, the reason why I wanted him to be with me is because we had a conversation with somebody. And, you know, we had actually a couple conversations with some people, but there's one particular conversation I was like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. You know, I was already kind of leaning that way already, but basically I plan on doing government contracting. And also just, you know, being a full-time entrepreneur, running my business, whether or not I'm doing YouTube or some other kind of marketing type of business or whatever, then, you know, I'm probably going to do that as well on the side. But government contracting is pretty much where I'm headed. And
look pretty good over there.
And he recently just started his business. And so we actually have a contract together.
About a year now.
Oh, well,
I had it about a year.
I mean government contracting. But you've kind of been doing contracting anyway. So
yeah, I've been doing contracting, but not on the government end, more on the consumer, retail end.
Yeah. But I guess I want to do this video because a lot of people know I'm an accountant, and it is a great career field, and I don't want anybody to think that becoming an accountant is a bad idea. It is a great idea, and many of my constituents, or my counterparts, my other accounting people out there, they don't plan on leaving their job. I talked to quite a few of them.
Your peers.
My peers, and talked to quite a few of them, and they don't plan on leaving their job at all. So they were like, what? You're going to do what? And but I don't have a exact date. You know, I need to replace my current salary or something close to it. I would like to double my current salary before I actually leave. But, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. So there's been a lot of people trying to quit their jobs or quitting their jobs, but they don't really have a plan when they quit. A lot of people I quit and just walk away, but I'm not going to do that. I've never been one to just do that without some kind of backup plan or some kind of sure thing. You know, I wouldn't be casino if I wasn't the house. You know, the rules of the casino is you bet against the house long enough, you always lose. So, you know, the odds have to be in my favor. So that's pretty much what I'm on right now.
Numbers game.
And Elder McPherson said, I'm sure being an auditor taught you a lot. Yeah, it taught me a lot about reading rules, regulations, how to dive deep and look into things that regular people probably wouldn't pay attention to from a business aspect or from a program aspect, how something is supposed to run and things like that. So, yes, being an accountant has prepared me quite well to do a lot of business-related things. I manage my own QuickBooks and all of that kind of stuff. And it's actually pretty interesting because as an accountant, I haven't had to deal with a lot of private company or public kind of things, like public company kind of things, where I haven't ever had to really deal with QuickBooks except for my own business. And so learning QuickBooks, and it's kind of like going back to my old accounting classes and like, oh, I remember having to put these entries in. And I mean, of course, you don't have to do like the T the T accounts and things like that, like the T charts and stuff. So, I don't have to do debits and credits in there, but it's something similar though, because I do have money that goes out and money that comes in. So I have to record all of those things a certain kind of way, expense accounts
Keep it
and things like that.
organized, balance in the
Yeah.
books.
Yeah. And so, that's kind of cool because I haven't seen some of this since
School.
school. Yeah. For real. Like, because my position, or most of the positions that I've been in, they didn't require that. At the VA, I worked as an accounting technician doing like fund control, like type stuff. And I know that probably means nothing to some of you, but dealing with obligations, which I think is going to help me with my business as far as government contracts, because you have to get, federally you'll have to get some like obligations and all of that kind of stuff set up. And when you get your contracts and stuff done, I'll know how that process works because I did that. I paid a lot of different kind of obligations when they had issues and I had to get them fixed and stuff like that. So that's actually going to help. And also, they don't pay accounting technicians enough money at the VA. They do a lot. All right, I did a lot. Okay, I don't miss that position whatsoever, but I did learn from it, so it is going to help me hopefully in my business. I actually helped another government contractor, who was having some issues with their obligations and stuff, and so when I saw that, I was like, oh, you know what, this may come in handy. And of course, working as an auditor, I had to read a lot of rules, regulations, and things like that, and just
Stand up to par with policies.
got a lot of new ideas. It's things that, that probably aren't even in place that, for my business, I can maybe put in place. It just all depends on what I do, because I don't even know what I want to do exactly, what field to specify, like I may go into.
So you say government contracting, so you got to talk to the people like it's a wide field, because you're saying government contracting, but then you still saying you don't know what you want to do. So it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, so I know how to do government contracting, but there are so many different types of government contracts you can do. You can do procurement, where you can be basically the government needs computers, so you purchase the computers and sell the computers to the government. Let's say they say we need 50 laptops, Dell laptops or whatever. So they tell you what types, like as far as RAM and how much memory they need, and if they need a CAT card slot. So they tell you all of the requirements that they need, and then you go out and you source those requirements. Source those laptops or whatever, and you say, okay, well, I talked to the company. The company said I can get these laptops for, let's say, $1,000 a piece, and you sell them to the government. Well, you bid to the government and say I can get these laptops to you for $1,200 a piece, and you basically are just playing the middle ground between the thousand. You make that $200 spread, and so you purchase and get them to the government for the $1,000. Do everything for the $1,000, and they buy them for the $1,200. So
why would I get all these computers? Like, if I'm like, say I'm a small business and I maybe can't afford to buy all these computers.
So you can use credit cards. Some companies will, depending on what it is, they will set you up with a line of credit, where they'll give you a line of credit through the company, and you can do things that way. Or you can get a bank loan, or you can borrow the money from somebody, or you can just come out of pocket. It just depends. So,
Okay.
But yeah, you will have to fund it, and the government usually pays like 30 days behind. So most of these things will be like net 30. So anyway, you guys, let me know. I don't even know if you guys can hear us. Can you hear us? Please get in the chat section and let me know if you guys can hear us at least. Let me know. But yeah, so, and that's just one type. That's procurement, right? And then you have services, where the government needs, I guess, maybe something delivered. So you provide a service. You pick up something and you deliver it somewhere for the government. They have warehousing. The government has things that they need stored, and if you have a warehouse or can get a contract on a warehouse to run a warehouse or something, they'll pay you to store things. I don't know what kinds of things, maybe generators. Hopefully, nobody's having to store like missiles or anything off base or whatever. But the government does pay for people to store things, basically anything. T-shirts. If you print shirts, there's military squadrons and stuff like that that's out there that need 1,000 shirts made, 2,000 shirts, T-shirts made with the squadron logo, and you'll get that contract and you charge them whatever you charge them per shirt, and that's that. But yeah, okay. So you say you can hear us. Okay, cool. But yeah. So you want to tell them about like some of the contracts you've done?
Wow. Well, me personally, I deal mostly with office furniture installation. So I've done contracts in various locations like hospitals, libraries, courthouses,
Trucking from scratch.
telemark.
Trucking from scratch. Just dropped $10 in here, $9.99. Appreciate that, man.
Okay.
That's what's up, bro.
But yeah, like different places where they need cubicle work or like private office space or maybe conference space or any of those type of things. I normally do contracts on those things. The contracts aren't typically through the government, though I've worked with some government entities. Like I work with a couple VA hospitals.
Yeah.
I've worked with a couple law enforcement agencies. And within doing that, what else? There's something else I'm missing. Oh, okay. The libraries, I've done campuses, like installing, but it's basically cubicle work.
Okay. So do they pay pretty well? Let's just say
They
to install an office, like a typical office that you see.
I mean, the pay varies depending on your position. And depending on your
like
skill.
the total contract.
But on the total contracts, the contracts are very well
paid.
They could range anywhere from 5,000 to a couple 100,000, depending on the contract, depending on the facility, depending on how big it is. I've had contracts where it's been like we go out and we have to do like 3 or 4 offices. And then I've had contracts where I had 2,000 cubicles and maybe 50 offices and maybe 5 conference rooms. You know what I'm saying? I've had conferences where, contracts where I've done like entire hospitals that's like 3 to 4 floors. And I'm working in phases, And then you have to coincide with construction guys and carpet and data and, everybody get it together and get it going. But if you're looking at the entire contract, it's different. But like my individual contract on just the furniture installation, those vary. Like I say, it could be from 5,000 to a couple 100,000.
Gotcha. Okay. So now I want to get into the conversation that we had that made me decide. I was already headed this way. Really, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to be a full-time YouTuber. I'm going to start doing way more videos. I'm going to start going into way more depth about business and things like that and the kind of stuff that I be having going on that really not a lot. I talk about some stuff, but people don't know nearly half of the stuff that I have going on. So like I wanted to, transition anyway. I already knew I wanted to transition. Like my friends, JT Hustle, Stan Banks, big YouTubers, they like, yo man, what are you doing? You tripping? You should be a full-time YouTuber or you should be in business. Well, basically a YouTuber, you should be in business for yourself. Like way too smart to be, clocking in and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, but I really enjoy my job. But things had just gotten to a point where I am not living up to my full potential, not even close to it. So that's when I was like kind of making the transition. Like, okay, I wanted to transition into becoming like either a full-time YouTuber or something within the year, starting in March, right? And so I was already in that mindset, but then we had that meeting with Karen and Tim. See,
that's mind blowing and eye opening at the same time.
So
It's just a wow.
So let's just say it was
Shouts out to them, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just say it was $100 million conversation. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I was really all the way out. Like, cause it's one thing where somebody says, hey, you can make however much money, right? Like, let's say being an accountant, right? I talked to a lot of people about becoming an accountant, right? But they didn't really ever see anybody living a certain lifestyle as an accountant until maybe they saw me. They saw me in, different cars and the houses and stuff. And they were like, yo, you getting that from accountant?
Yeah.
And then I'm saying, well, how much do you think we make? And people like, yo, I figure y'all make like 60,000. And then I show them a chart from online that has, the average accountant for the federal government makes 100 and however much thousand, 114,000, whatever it is, and showing them the highest paid accountant made 200 and some thousand, like 273 or something like, I can't remember. But, when they saw those numbers and then they could see the lifestyle, and they're like, oh, this is different from what I expected it to be, right? Yeah. So I knew there was money in government contracts. But until you are sitting across somebody who's like, because people they'll like, oh yeah, I make a living, but you don't know, you don't know how much they making. We all pro what's popping, bro, but you don't know how much they making. And then when you see, oh, bro was like, yo, I made 100 million, and it's like, wait, what, and she made 20 something, like, it's like when you see that, it's like, oh, this is the numbers I was looking for, right? This I already knew. So government contracting is really good because you don't have the competition of the general public. You have like me in business trying to get you to purchase something from me. You as a regular person, consumer, walking down the street, I'm like, yo, I got these drinks for sale, right? But every store you go into has drinks for sale. And then you're like, well, I don't know you. I don't trust you. Like, what kind of drinks is it? It's not the kind I like. All it is. So you're like in competition. So then I may have something for sale for $5 and I'm trying to get you to get it. And you're like, well, what's the lowest I can pay? And I'm like, all right, give me $4 because I'm desperate. I haven't sold anything today. Right? Or I may end up cutting into my profit or just getting rid of it because I can't keep going through this process with you. It's the money too slow, right? And so I fired a lot of people. My yard guy, got a new yard guy, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but I didn't fire him because he didn't do a good job. I just fired him because I wanted a cheaper price, But the government, they're not the typical consumer that's outside. Me, when I buy an office chair, I'm going to buy a cheap office chair I'm going to buy the best cheap office chair I can find. You know what I'm saying?
Bang for the buck.
I might have spent like $45 or something like that on the office chair. What's the typical office chair that you install in these government offices?
The typical office chair is from like $1,500 to like $3,000, $3,500.
Yeah, and
that's the normal price range from like $1,500 to like $3,500.
So you might spend $100 as a regular person for an office chair, but when you go buy office chair, you buying one. Maybe you buying two if you need two office chairs, right? Maybe you got two offices in your house. That's rare, but let's say you got to go buy two office chairs. You buy two office chairs. Government, you know how many office chairs they buying at $1,500 a piece? They buying like 200 chairs at $1,500 a piece.
Sometimes more than that.
Yeah, it's a different game. It's not the same, right? And so as a small business, there are set-asides that are designed for you to make money. Anyway, I know I'm probably just rambling on and on. Oh, the R. Hodge experience was popping. Planning on buying my freedom paper soon. That's what's up, bro. Yeah, I ain't gone yet. I need a couple more dollars. You know what I'm saying? I need a couple more contracts to come in. We got one right now, but I need a couple more contracts before I can be like, yo, I'm done. Because while I'm working, and I love my job, right? While I'm working, I can't really focus on my growth in the other space because I'm focused on this, on work. And even though I love my job is mentally, like the job of an accountant isn't like physically hard. It's not even really mentally hard, but it does require you to pay attention to detail and to think and, do certain things. And some of it is just repetitive, busy work, but you still can't make a mistake doing it, that kind of thing. I mean, you can make a mistake, but you got to fix it. But I mean, but so part of that during those hours that I should be making calls and making networking on the government side, on the government contract side, I can't really focus on because I'm busy with work. And once I'm able to replace my salary, then it's really gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy because like I know me. You know what I'm saying? I know me. I know what I'm capable of, and so once I'm able to like be fully in that space, it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy.
Tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision. All right. So we had literally $100 million conversation, and it was like, what am I doing with myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, I heard they paid like $10K for toilet seats. Laugh out loud. Yo, they want commercial everything. They don't want to do any personal home stuff. They want commercial everything. Okay. So yeah, and then it's so many government agencies. It's way more government agencies than you would even
could imagine.
Yeah, because a lot of people think about when you say government contracts, a lot of people think about DoD, which is Department of Defense, Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, things like that. They think about those contracts, but they don't, or maybe even they think about FEMA. Okay, they think about FEMA, but there are agencies. Let's say there's a ton of government agencies that you still don't really, federal government agencies that you still don't know about, and then there are state and local agencies, police departments are have government contracts in every city, every state. You have counties, contracts, the sheriff offices. You have
I've done quite a few of those.
Yeah, so you have a ton. If there's a county that has a library, that's still a government contract. Like it's so many on so many levels. It's just you wouldn't even imagine how many. Like the little smallest towns still have government contracts. There's still contracts to maybe do litter pickup. You know what I'm saying? In a small country town, like it's so many things that you can do and get money from, and they have budgets. And it's crazy to me that some of the people who work in the offices who are submitting some of these contracts, right? They may want to build a parking deck at a VA hospital, and that might be a multi-million-dollar contract, and maybe part of that contract has to be awarded to a small business. Maybe not the full contract. It might be a $15 million contract to build a building, and part of that contract needs to go to a small business, needs to be set aside for a small business. So a big company may just link up with you because you're a small business in that space, and you got a certain certification where you're certified small business, where they're like, yo, we'll do all the work, but we're going to share part of the profits with you just to make sure that we can still get this contract, because the government is saying you got to partner with some small business. You can't squeeze everybody out. And they're like, yo, we'll do the work. We just need you to be on this. Yeah. So it's so many things that's out here.
You got to apply yourself and just,
Yeah, so All Pro said the War Dog movie showed those two guys land $100 million contract based on a true story. Yeah.
It's real.
Listen,
it's really real. That's a real story.
We know people who had $100 million, who made $100 million doing this. And not like we heard about, but we sat in rooms, hung out with guys who made $100 million, and it's like, it's not impossible. Trust me, if they did it, and this is what they were saying, we did it. We know you can do it. And so, it was just good and refreshing to see, black man made 100 million and he ain't Birdman or Drake. You
It's
know
so
what I'm
easy a
saying?
caveman could do it. It's,
Yeah.
for me, it was like, why haven't we been knowing this? Like, why don't
Yeah.
they teach this in school or something? Why isn't this a
Yeah.
course in college?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
why isn't this in your academic courses in high school? Because this is something what people should know about. Like, why haven't we already known this?
Yeah. I mean, and you know, of course, you got the people who, you know, people are mentioning, oh, this government contract. So they doing government contracting, but you don't know how much money they making. So it's like you can't really put because the only people who I knew who did like government contract stuff while I was in the military was like people who were going overseas to work in like Afghanistan as civilians, and they'll make like 100,000 cooking in the kitchen on base or something like that, which was cool. That was great money, you know, back in '08 and '09. That was great money, but at the same time, well, it's cool now, you know. But I wouldn't go to Afghanistan for 100,000.
Nah.
I can do that here. I do that here.
They ain't at war now.
So, right, that's what I mean. But over there, it was like, that was cool, that was great, but it wasn't 100 million. Like, it wasn't 50 million. It wasn't a $4 million a year. I heard about a lady paying herself $4 million a year.
That was crazy too. Like,
yeah. It's crazy stuff out here, man. It's crazy stuff out here. So, I was telling one lady that I know that
the more you dig deeper into it, the more information is out there for you to find too. Like,
yeah. When I had a lady tell me, I was like, yeah. So she was like, so how much are you trying to, you know, do or whatever? I said, man, if I can get to like 300,000 a year, you know, or if I can get my government contract and stuff up to like 300,000, you know, me. And she was like, oh, you can do that in 6 months. I said, oh no, I wasn't even meaning.
y'all done up and done it.
I wasn't even meaning, you know, necessarily like in the year that'll be great, but like I wasn't necessarily even saying this year. I'm just saying like a goal would be to get to the 300K. And she was like, oh, you can do that in 6 months. Where you from right now? Like, you know, that's not that difficult. Like, and I was like, oh no. See, I've been looking at all this wrong, but I didn't have any. Yeah.
Totally wrong.
Yeah.
Because once you see it and you understand it, you realize it. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I see how to make money. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like if they gave you a money machine and told you, hey, just print all the money, but you got to put the work in to print the money. You can have as much as you want, but you just got to put all the work in to print it. We're going to give you the machine. You can have the money. Just put the work in.
Yeah.
And it's going to come.
Yeah. Like the current contract that we got, he made us, 2,400 in 3 days?
Yeah.
And he only working 6 days a month. You know, it's crazy. It's like, we've been looking at all of this wrong. All right, we need to figure some things out. We definitely need 100 million. Plus, the beauty part is that if you got enough money, you can pay your family members, you know, who work for you, like, or who work with you. Like, my goal is for everybody to be a boss, right? I got a business, he got a business. If I get a contract, I'm a subcontract to him. He get a contract, he can subcontract to me, and we can both be bosses. Like, we still work for our own company, you know. Some things you have to have some W-2 employees. I just got a call the other day about some GSA stuff, which is another government agency. But GSA purchases a lot of things, and they were saying that they needed, that my company would have to have 2 W-2 employees, which one can be you, but you need to get on with GSA. They wanted you to have at least 2 W-2 employees. It's nothing to put him on as a W-2 just to do whatever we need to do. It's us, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
a lot of business in, getting business
whatever
done.
we need to do, we down. And so, you know, the game is way different now, and you know, looking at, you know, even what my supervisor makes or what my supervisors make and things like that, is like, even with the highest paid accountant in the federal government making like 200. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look that up. Right, I'm gonna let you talk to the folks for a minute, but I'm gonna look this up because I'm curious.
So now you trying to figure out how much the highest paying accountant making?
Yeah,
That's what we searching for.
For the federal government. So the highest paid accountant now is the co-owner of Nike, Phil Knight.
Yeah.
He got $25 billion or so. So that's not what I'm looking at. But he is still an entrepreneur. But yeah. Let me see. Quentin Jordan says, "What's the top products and services federal contracts being sought at now, other than janitor services?" So I mean, you got IT contracts, you got construction contracts, and IT contracts are going to be some of your bigger ones, depending on what you're doing. What else? It's another one. Manufacturing also is pretty big. You guys need to look into
transportation also.
Yeah, I don't know about transportation, but it would make sense that transportation would be a big one. The government is going to pay pretty good. Usually, they're going to pay pretty good to like believe it or not, the employees make decent. Employees make a decent amount. They make a market rate. But it's way different when you're a business owner. As a matter of fact, let's look at that. Let's think about that, right? If you work for a company, right? And let's say you drive trucks. And that company pays the truck driver 30% of the load or something. I don't know. Maybe they pay them per mile, a small percentage or whatever. But let's say they pay them 30% of the load. Excuse me. If you took out another 30% for all the other stuff, or even maybe 40% for all the other stuff, they still got another. So they pay you 30%, 40% goes towards gas and all the other stuff, insurance, whatever. They say it's a major company. So they might have paid out 70%, but they still made 30%, right? And they still made, mind you, whatever you're getting paid for the load, they're still making 3 times that. So when you have a business, even if you're an employee and you're getting paid $20, $40, $50, they're making, if you're making $40, they making $60, $70, or at least $45. They're still making more than what you're receiving, right? Because they're able to pay you with it. So if you're the person who owns the business, then you're making a lot more money than that. So the government pays the businesses really, really well. It's just being a quote unquote employee, you kind of getting the residuals from there. But, if you got the business, you can make a lot of money. That's paid accountant salary, federal government. Let's see. All right.
It definitely gonna come around.
All right, so it says
you got your own stuff, but it's what you put in, what you gonna get out too, though. You got your own business. That's the only thing about working for yourself. What you get in is what you put out.
So read those lines right now.
The average pay for an accountant is $122,584.
And this is for 2020.
The highest paid accountant made $273,400 in 2020.
So
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So they're making more money now, but that's the highest paid. Now, I think the average salary for SEC accountant is about $218,000. So that's really cool. You know what I'm saying? That's good. Over 5 years, 4 to 5 years, you make, $1 million, but it ain't $100 million. It ain't $100 million.
Nah, far from it.
It ain't $100 million.
Far from
See
it.
what I'm
Far
saying?
from it. Far
So
from it.
I knew I could be cool with my salary, like with being an accountant. I knew I could make a living. I'd be cool, but it ain't no $100 million unless I have my own accounting business. And but don't get me wrong. Like I'm not knocking nobody because you can definitely get rich with a 9 to 5. Don't let nobody fool you. People say you can't. Yes, you can. Now, whether or not you're gonna make 100 million with a 9 to 5, unless you like LeBron, because I mean they play basketball for teams, and somebody signing their check, um, but unless it's something like that, more than likely traditional employee, you're not gonna probably make 100 million or 50 million or nothing like that, unless you're working maybe for a hedge fund or something like that. But other than that, like the typical what people think about is a 9 to 5. Yes, you can still make money. You can still get rich doing that. Making $50,000 a year, if you invest it right, early enough, yeah, you can retire a millionaire. I mean, it's just gonna take a lot longer to get there than somebody who got a salary of 400,000 a year. But yeah. Anyway, have you guys thought about doing any kind of government contracts or looking in other industries to walk away from your 9 to 5 if you have a 9 to 5?
A 9 to 5 ain't in my schedule.
Yeah, no, and a lot of people talk bad about 9 to 5s, but like I said, it's people who made 50,000 a year being a janitor and retired as a multimillionaire. It's all about investing. It's all about doing the right things with money, and it just helps if you have a bigger check to do other things and live. Now, I don't necessarily agree with the whole Dave Ramsey method of like living on beans and rice. I do understand cutting back on certain things and stuff, but yeah, you can do that. I just saw a nurse on his channel say she paid off like 240 some thousand or something like that in debt in 31 months. And they were like, "How did you do it?" She said, "Oh, I work 90 hours a week as a nurse practitioner."
The crazy part about it is like
Never.
I've started working for myself, like it was like I started working for myself to try to free up more time for myself and create more time for myself. But I find that I've been working more because even when I'm not physically working or physically on the job, like my brain is working because I'm constantly thinking about the next job or the next contract or how can I work this smoother? How can I make this go a lot easier? Like, how can I, like my mind is always processing the job. So I come to realize like a 9 to 5 ain't really gonna cut it. Like, if you really want to get over the hill, and I mean, it's cool if you just want to be at a certain level, but if you're really trying to have a certain amount of wealth, a 9 to 5 ain't gonna cut it. Like, you're gonna have to put in way more hours.
Yeah. So we got a question from Reginald Jackson. All right. So before I talk about that, I just want to say that there are other things you can do besides government contracting. I'm gonna let you know that right now. There's plenty of other things you can do. But for me, for all the stuff I looked at, this is the one. This is I looked at all kind of businesses. I've seen all kind of things come through. This is it. This is the one. You know how many business owners.
It's that left, right, up, down, select, start. Yeah.
I think he's saying cheat code. So I've talked to every kind of business owner I can personally think of, and I didn't talk. That's a lot. Okay, everything from dog breeders to beauticians to doctors and nurses. I've talked to everybody. Rocket scientists, everything. Okay, and this is the one that gets me excited. It's the one.
It should.
It's just the one. Okay. All right. So Reginald wants to know. Do I know what it takes and where to go to get started to get government contracts in South Georgia? So, what part of South Georgia, for one? And two, so you can go to sam.gov and get registered and find government contracts on there. sam.gov. And matter of fact, I'll type that in the chat.
That should be your first step.
Now
Getting your
this is going to
business,
be
your LLC registered with SAM.gov.
this is going to be for federal contracts. State and local contracts are going to be on, say, let's say, well, you can somewhat. I can't remember exactly how I did it, but you can sign up with the Georgia procurement website. Let me see.
Drop that in now. I think that's where you find contracts for your county and for the state.
It might be like that's so. I can't remember. I have to look at my other phone.
Your city and county.
Yeah. So you can look at the Georgia procurement website and you can see like bids, where you can sign up to receive emails about bids. So I get these emails all the time saying bid on this, and you'll put in like your NAICS code or which is like the code that says what your company offers. So if you sign up saying my company offers construction, here it is. Let me type this thing in. This is who I get the email from. SSL dot DOAS dot state. Oh shoot. State dot GA dot US. And if that link, if this doesn't like work as a link, because it's like HTTPS semicolon // whatever. If that doesn't work as a link, like if you copy that and then just Google it. Take that, put it in Google, and it should pop up something. But you can do that, sign up, and they'll have all kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, this one that I'm looking at is they were looking for Chromebooks for Petula Charter Academy. But you can also, another thing you can do is you can say, okay, you can type in, oh, by the way, what part of South Georgia you say you in? Because what you can do is you can type in, I don't know what part of South Georgia you're in, so let's say you're in Albany, Georgia. So you can type in maybe like City of Albany procurement office or whatever, and you should be able to pull up an office and talk to somebody, call the office and just ask them, do y'all have any kind of contracts that, coming up, or where do I find your particular contracts? I called one office and they were saying that theirs was, what's the name of it? It was something like Bonfire or something like that. They use Bonfire. I think a lot of state and local contracts are on Bonfire. But then there's a difference between procurement and service contracts. So that's just differences. But you'll be able to just Google all of that. Yeah, you see,
a lot of info.
Albany, yeah. See, yeah. So, but yeah, man. Anyway, we're about to get up off of here. But this is what got me saying, yeah, I'm done. And my supervisor, me and him had a conversation, and he was like, hey, to prepare yourself for the next level, you're going to be going into leadership and this and that, in the future. So, these are some of the things that we will be looking for and all of that, and work on this. And I told him, I said, hey, I ain't going to lie to you. I'm not probably going to be doing none of that. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, like I told him. I told him, hey man, I'm trying to transition out, man. I said, I had $100 million conversation a couple of days ago, and I ain't gonna be here. Like I gotta, like, it's gonna take me a little while to transition fully. I'm shooting between 3 months. I know I'm not leaving before 3 months, and within the 12-month window. So between 3 to 12 months is where my head is. But I be so busy with life and doing that, that I haven't taken the time to like start bidding on things and stuff. So that's something I gotta take care of.
Well, right. As time wind down on you,
appreciate you, Quint. Yay.
As time winds down on you,
yeah,
leaving your job,
yeah,
drop the link so you know what I'm saying. You can let the people know where they can find one of these fancy timepieces. What I'm wearing.
The link is already in the description.
You know what I'm saying?
So this is Casino Watch. You know what I'm saying?
They nice.
Yeah.
I like gold. I feel like gold looks good on my. You know what I'm saying?
I normally wear the gold. I just wore the silver. I ain't really wore the silver one really ever. So I just put it on. And yeah, we get a lot of compliments on this when we go out. So, But the link should be in the description of the video anyway. But did y'all have to take a course or YouTube University? That's funny. That's funny. So
that's nice.
I have been around government contracting for a while, and I didn't really take a course. I just met people who were doing it. My sister, she teaches a class on it for the Small Business Administration in her state. She actually got a government contract to teach government contracts to the Small Business Administration in her local community. And she's a lawyer and stuff like that. And then, of course, Sheena, matter of fact, Sheena has a course that she's getting ready to put out, Sheenapreneur. I've had her on this channel before, so if you just type in Casino is the name, government contracts, you'll see like a couple of the videos that me and her did. She now has her own YouTube channel. So,
and for me, I was doing contracts for like the last 3-4 years, and what kind of triggered a light bulb in my head one day, we was doing a contract for a VA hospital, and I'm reading over the contracts and everything, and I'm looking at the contract and I'm looking at the numbers on the contract, and I'm like, yo, I'm looking at the work and I'm looking at what they're saying they're gonna pay us, and it's like, these are some astronomical numbers. And I'm like, we just kind of did the same exact job like maybe 2 or 3 weeks prior in another location, but it wasn't for the VA. It wasn't for that form of the government entity. So it didn't pay as well. It wasn't as lucrative. It was like the regular normal check. You know what I'm saying? It still was pretty good, but it wasn't that. So when I seen that, the first thing came to my mind is like, hold on. I know that it's some things, and then with the VA being a VA hospital, I started thinking, I wonder what it takes for me to get one of these contracts. And then I know people who are already in the military, so I started inquiring and asking around, and one of the first persons I called was my brother. I called him and asked him, like, yo, what you know about government contracting? And he was like, well, I know a little bit, but I know you could do them. So I told him, I said, man, you need to look into that, because I'm looking at a contract and these numbers, if we could get into doing this, you know what I'm saying? Because I know the work, you know what I'm saying? I know how to do the stuff. I know the infrastructure. If we could get into doing this ourselves, like, we could make a check.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's basically the plan. We got like $100 million plan, you hear me? So
a piece.
A piece. Yeah, because I always really said like 10 million was like my number, 10 million my number, but you might have to make 100 million to make 10 million. Like, if you're running a business, running a business 10%. So, it's just, we'll see. But I'm definitely at it. I'm definitely at it, and I'm not gonna play. Matter of fact, y'all make sure y'all pay attention to 8A certification. 8A certification will change your life. Will change your life. By the way, if you haven't already, please smash the like button. I appreciate y'all. I'm planning to leave my job. How often, by the way, could y'all get in the comment section and tell me how often I need to go live on this channel? Because I'm trying to get I had a lot going on, you feel me? So now I'm kind of figuring things out. I got my studio set back up and everything because I had broke it down and all kind of stuff. So, but how often you guys think I should go live on here so we can like just keep some of this information going, because we got a lot to talk about, man. The real estate market right now is crazy.
Yeah, we were just at a little industry is crazy site the other day.
Yeah,
like
I got
2 days ago.
I got like 5 videos that I've shot and I already edited. They're bouncing out right now. I'm probably just gonna release one of those per week. So for the next 5 weeks, I should be able to drop, a video for you guys. But I definitely need to go live on here more. I know that. But we got 16 likes and we got over 24 people watching right now. So could you guys please smash the like button? Matter of fact, I'm finna cheat. I'm finna hit it myself. I don't never really do that. Don't tell nobody I did it this time. Don't tell them. Anyway, y'all smash that like button, man. Let's try to get these numbers up, man. I appreciate y'all for watching. And yeah, we're gonna do it like that. Anyway, 2G, you want to tell him he's a rapper? It's my brother, a rapper.
I am not a rapper.
My bad.
I am an entertainer. I am not an artist. I am an artiste.
Yeah.
Sell money.
You're from the Bahamas too.
2G, I'm a G2.
Yeah.
242 to the world. 700 islands and keys representing DBD by way of the Bahamas.
Yeah. And if you wanted to know if Atlanta is popping, I got this guy to move up. He like, hey, he moved up here from Miami. He like, yo, I live here now.
I don't know if it was Atlanta or the bag, you know what I'm saying?
It's both, because the bag is in Atlanta. The bag is here. It's different energy.
Maybe that's something for another conversation, another
energy.
topic, another day,
Yeah.
Maybe give y'all some do's and don'ts on the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. Anyway, right now you're watching Casino Is the Name. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and go follow me on Instagram at @KingCasino1.
And there's 2G, I'm a G2. Sell money.
Yeah, he peeking out.
So, I'm out here.
Yeah. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? There's money everywhere. There's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour.